started.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the first thing on the agenda is,
We are going to be doing a quick overview of the CompStat report that that everyone has in front of them, and also just sort of a quick discussion of the recent school closures that have happened. Yes. Oh, did you not get a CompStat report? Okay.
No, I had one. Somebody liberated it.
Okay, well basically we can take a quick look at basically what we're seeing right now in terms of the CompStat report is that there has been hold on. I'm gonna just quickly hold on, Kathy. Yes, there you go, sir. There you go. I'll pass it.
oh, okay. I thought we lost it.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Who else over here does not have a CompStat report?
Oh, we are we're coming off one of the strongest months in terms of miles that we've had in a long time. There you go. Oh, you know. Yeah. What is that? Yeah, I will project my voice. As we're seeing, number one, we're just seeing we see a huge decrease in the murder rate over the course of this past month, which we don't quite know if it's a statistical anomaly or if it's an actual trend. And a lot of people want to see how that plays out over the course of the next, let's say, month. And so we're going to see that. We also have a lot of people here that we're so excited who can really speak on that on a ground level. We have people representing the parole office. We've got people representing gang outreach organizations, as well as we'll be having representative of the Chicago Police Department here speaking on behalf of dealing with problem businesses. So we've got a lot going on today, and hopefully by sort of mid-meeting we'll have the tech stuff worked out so we can actually hear each other. But we also just want to quickly go over. Do you want to say something? We just want to go over what's happening in terms of school closures.
Billy,
Yes.
Billy, I don't know if they know we're on.
Yeah.
We don't have a mic.
Yeah. No. Let's.
So we're starting to meet you all.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Silence!
Yes.
When you say we, who's we? Are you in organization with a name?
Well, we are called Exchcange Ideas.
You are called.
We are called Exchcange Ideas. We're a monthly community meeting that serves as sort of a gateway to everything related to South Shore. And that includes violence prevention, that includes community outreach, includes after-school activities, includes just about everything. And so the main thing is that we meet monthly, we promote businesses, we promote people, we promote organizations, and we promote South Shore. And our website is gosouthshore.org.
Go South Shore.
Yes. But yes, so we obviously, we've been keeping track, maybe too closely, we've been talking about the crime rate in South Shore because we've seen a huge uptick over the course of the past year, but we were just talking about how we witnessed last month a drastic decrease in the overall Chicago City murder rate, which is what has gotten so many national headlines over the course of the past year and a half.
And on that note, I just wanted to also tell you that we're going to upload it to the website, but the 10-year report for CPD came out. We talked about it last month, but overall, the crime in Chicago has dropped precipitously. So it's in stark contrast to what we're hearing on the news and what we're seeing. Actually, over the past decade, it's dropped in an insane rate. So I'll release that as soon as I get my hands on it. You can also find it online by just Googling any number of things, but it's the 10-year Chicago Police Department report.
Yes. And we're also obviously sort of playing into that in terms of what's going on. I passed out, I only had about 15 printed out. I just passed out the list of school closures that we all have just heard about and are so eager to know what's going to happen in terms of school closures. And just sort of as a rundown with what's going on, the big schools that the South Shore area is going to be affected by are O'Keefe, which is on I think 70th and Merrill, and that's going to be turned around next year, which means that the entire typically turn around the entire staff and the entire administrative staff is replaced, usually through an organization called AUSL, which is Academy Urban School Leadership. And then we also are going to be seeing Fermi, which is on 71st, and it's a little past Stony, which that is going to be, that's another large school that is going to be closed entirely. On the list that we see, you'll see where the students from Fermi will be going, but we're going to be noticing a lot of traffic. A lot of students are going to be moved from one area to another. There's going to be huge logistical hurdles that everyone's dealing with. But if anyone can speak on what's going on in terms of the school closures, how we're feeling about that, if we have any ideas about that, just let it out, because it's a lot of change going on. Yes, ma'am.
I'm not looking from the outside, and I've seen a lot of investment in physical plant and then decrease in programs and teachers. What is with these budgets? They've got money to build all these new schools, and they're getting rid of actual education.
Yes, a very fair point. Yes.
I think what's really going on is customer privilege taking over. Everybody can learn off the computers. Once you come to punch
Can't hear.
I didn't put. You want to speak up?
I said, I think it's they close the schools because computers is taking over the world. You know how to work a computer, you can go to school on your own.
Because computers are taking over. I mean, hey, but we also, I mean, that's actually one thing I didn't mention was that, number one, the CPS is committing to bring more technology, more resources to the schools that are actually going to be there, that are going to be in existence. But the question is, what's going to happen to class sizes? I teach preschool, and the idea of teaching 35 students in one group, literally, I just got an ulcer thinking about that. But it's just, that sort of thing these are sort of the things that we're going to be talking about long term. But yes, so we're going to move forward in terms of the actual contents of the meeting because we've got so much going on. And so the first thing that we wanted to talk about. Oh yeah.
My question is, what is the community prepared to do to prevent the next daring outbreak? When the school's closing, you got trans neighborhood traffic. What is the community prepared to do to prevent the next daring outbreak? The other thing was, you're talking about them putting technology in the school. Here's the problem with technology in the school. We are the technology generation, honestly. Everybody under us has been digitally brainwashed, and parents not helping them do the homework because they don't understand it. So there's a disconnect in the community on multiple fronts when you're looking at these kids going across neighborhood lines. So you as a teacher, you're going to catch it, but the community is really going to be severely set back. They're not expecting it. They don't see it happen. Now, and that's the biggest problem with the youth in the community. They don't have a voice, and they're already being ostracized because they can't voice how they feel because they don't know how to. So there's going to be a lot more daring apples coming out here unless we as a community step out here and help these kids get to where they need to go.
Well, that's
Yeah, so two things. One, Billy and I have been talking about that, actually having separate youth meetings here, and then having actually like representatives from those youth meetings come to these meetings. So that they can kind of understand and have that voice. The second thing that we're working on too is collaborating with other community organizations, which is why we do this. I know that one of the organizations here, they're having an Easter egg hunt. So, trying to make sure that we're communicating with each other and letting our kids in our neighborhoods, our blocks, our residents know, hey, there's something for the kids to do so that they can get to know each other.
Do we know how many schools are closing in this area?
There's 3 that I saw on the list. Yeah.
Because I didn't see the list yet.
They just released it. It was on post maybe the day before yesterday.
Yeah, and it was passing around.
Yeah, okay.
And let me say this, you asked that, what are we prepared to do to prevent the next dairy and Albury situation?
Right.
Because of course we don't want kids being beat up and killed based off of going to a different school and he wasn't working. What are we as a community prepared to do? Because it can't just be, one person, a couple of people trying to prevent it. It's got to be a community effort.
Right, it's got to be a community effort.
So, you brought it up. Are there any ideas that you want to
Yeah.
Alright, well, within the last 3 weeks, I personally walk the street when the kids get out of school. That's when I'm available. Well, I go to school. And I've stopped 4 fights.
Wow.
See what I'm saying? But I'm also a martial arts instructor, so I know how to handle myself. But it's the principle. The minute a man says, hey, stop, they gonna look. Wait, I know you ain't talking to me because that ain't my daddy's voice. And they're gonna look. And as you approach them, they're gonna get cowardly. Where you have to stand up and be secure in yourself and show them that you're not backing down. You live here. You just visiting. See what I'm saying? Because when they get out of high school, they gotta go somewhere. But you still won't be here 8 years, 4 years from now. So you live here. They're visiting.
So have you thought about an actual group that you want to put together?
I have no problem. It's not me, love. Look around. We got testosterone in the building, but
I mean, I'm just piggybacking on
and
what
we
you
got
said.
women. You are just as viable. You are a viable option just as much as the men are.
But let me say this, and I don't want to prolong this because I know we got a lot of folks that want to say a lot. But when we talk about problems, we also need to talk about solutions.
Amen.
So that's why I brought it back to you.
And I got solutions.
I see. So that's something we need to eventually feed off of.
Dory, come on up. Whatever you want.
You know, I'm running for alderman in 2015. And so right now I'm putting a proposal together. I believe the organization, the NOI, will be a great alternative to help police the neighborhoods. And that's a resource in the community. So I'm designing a proposal to them and going to present it to the alderman who's in office now so that we can use other sources to help police our neighborhoods. It's a way to cut down on police brutality against quality residents, and then there's a way of slowing down the gang crime and the other crimes that happen in the community.
Can you speak about the NOI, what it does?
Well, with the Nation of Islam, they're a Muslim organization.
Oh, no, like what they're doing with you.
Well, they have their own school system, they have their own police system, so why not reach out to them and garner that and help police our neighborhoods? You know, instead of bringing in more police, it would cut the budget, save some of the budget funds, if we use these other sources that we have. And as my friend Farrell said, we need to organize with different men in the community and start block clubs and other things like that that's going to help secure our community. So solutions.
Solutions. Thank you, Dory.
Yeah, my brother was telling me about a movie called Black Fu, I think is the name of it. Do you know about it, Farrell? And he said it's a martial arts group, and it showed how it transformed the neighborhood.
It will. Look at the Guardian Angel.
Yeah.
Guardian Angel, perfect example, classic, right? You take a group of kids, you give them something to live for, you teach them about discipline, you teach them how to respect other people, and it works.
Yeah.
It works. However, you're going to need people like, my man has a shirt on that says THC Karate, which is on 72nd and Stony Island, the Larry Tankston School. You got a couple other schools in the area. You got the Nation of Islam, who actually has a boxing school not too far from the NOI, from the mosque. These are connections in the community that we as people need to learn to use to get the kids off the street. Get those instructors out of there to help patrol. We got SCR security that runs around here on 71st and just melees with the teenagers. Get out of the teenager space. Make sure these kids is getting home. Make sure these teenagers are off the corner, don't push them back. But at the end of the day, the solutions are numerous. This is the problem. But I'm not the only person that sees it.
Well, so I like the idea of using existing resources. So what as people in this room can we do to give you or yourself or whomever else the resources to connect? Because I feel like, you know, if you get like, I know THC Karate or, you know, in a while, if you guys could create some kind of consortium to actually around that, I'll figure out what they
This
need.
is just my research from you, your urban plan, right?
Right.
I can definitely utilize your help, finish the proposal, design it, so that we can submit it to the NOI and then perhaps submit it to the alderman and then to the city of Chicago.
We can start it today.
love to drop our kids off and babysit and not worry about them. I don't have that problem. I worry about them while they're at the babysitter. I know mine's a little hellish. But at the end of the day, they understand this. You tell them no, they look at you like, oh man, come on. And it's that simplicity. This older gentleman right here, that older gentleman over there with the NAACP jacket on, and maybe 1 or 2 young guys in the community standing on 3 different corners, that curtails a lot of movement. That curtails a lot of anger. You know what I'm saying? When the SCR people roll around in the neighborhood and they see that you actually are taking a genuine interest in the gym that you have, and when you say, hey, these guys over here don't belong over here, they will stop. They will harass them. And when they get to talking slick, a lot of them on 71st are off-duty police officers. So they definitely gonna get a night in jail.
Do any of you all have any ideas and resources? Because my thinking right now is that the only next step I can think of is to meet after the meeting to figure out how we're going to connect all the existing dots. I don't know what resources other people may hold, what information theories.
Yes?
My name is Percy Coleman. I'm not speaking for my job. Because my job, I'm a parole supervisor for this entire area, commander of my agents in this area. Now, we're in the streets every day, but I'm also a former Chicago public school teacher. I did 16 years in special education. I'm also the father of a son who was murdered by the Chicago police December the 12th. One of the things that you're going to have to do is, I don't know if you got an organizational list of who you're meeting with, who are the consistent people that's coming to your meetings, so you know what you're talking about. Because other than that, if you just come in and talk to each other for a few minutes, you feel good, and you go home and it's nothing happening. Radio station 1570 AM. Harold Davis. That's why I'm here. Okay. They are on every day from 2 o'clock until 4 p.m. 1570 AM. But what we've started doing, we went to the University of Chicago about 2 weeks ago and met with some other parents and people who've had trouble with one of the terrorist groups we have in Chicago. I'm not even sure some of you all know that we got 2 terrorist groups here in Chicago, if you understand what terrorists mean. Those are people who intimidate you. Those are people who threaten you. Those are people who make your quality of life useless. And they do that because they know you're not organized. You don't need the one little panic over here, and then you got to take care of your problem by yourself. You have to think about a hunter. If a big hunter goes through Africa and he shoots an elephant, he puts his foot up next to the elephant, take a picture. If he goes through there and shoot a lion, he puts his gun up and take a picture. You come to a beehive, they won't allow him to shoot it. Because if he shoots that beehive, what happens? All of them come out. And that's the kind of help that we need. I used to be a commander of police for Chicago housing. We got Chicago housing off the most troubled housing list in the United States. We did that by working with the residents. They had residents patrol. They had residents who couldn't patrol on the phone watching. But they had to have a trust in the police. They don't have it wholesaling. But you don't get these Chicago cops out of those cars, nothing will change. They must get out the car, but they will not do it if you don't understand what they're supposed to do when they're supposedly community policing. The residents should know who they are. Call you by your first name. See, because if I can just jump off my car and beat your butt, I don't have to worry about you knowing who I am. But if I'm Percy Coleman and you know who I am, you know my badge number, it's very difficult for me not to respect the community. My son would be alive today if the Chicago police would have respected the fact that I was his father, that I was in my community, and that they were in my community, and a whole block of people trying to tell him my son needed help. My son had a mental breakdown. He's 38 years old. He's a graduate of Illinois University and Chicago University. They didn't take none of that into consideration. I'm in law enforcement. When somebody's injured and we're about to make an arrest, guess where they go first? they have to go to the hospital. They're not supposed to take them in the lockup. But because a lot of you all are not getting information, 111th Street is where my son was either murdered or halfway there before they took him to that daggone Rosen Hospital. And that's another, this is why I don't want to preach to the choir, but I'm just saying, if you're going to organize and you're starting here, get your list together so you know who real and who ain't. So that you don't keep running in and out with different this and that every day. And when some police come in here to talk to you, if you had a problem this month and they come back next month to discuss it, make sure they've solved that problem before you start dropping new problems on them. It's going to be very important that whatever you do as a group, you are self-sufficient. You don't have to beg nobody for no grants. You ain't got to worry about this. And brother, if you want to police your area, you got 900 security agencies that most of the established law enforcement don't respect or pay attention to. And they live amongst you. Give them that little extra training so they can be part-time police officers, and there's some bodies for you in your street. No resident is going to stand out and try to deal with these pants-dropping, pill-popping. Some of these young men, a generation is losing their entire minds. Some of these guys and gals that we deal with are hardened criminals. They won't change unless the community change because we accept them. These are terrorists that live amongst us. Two groups. And you don't have to take my word for it. Just who gives you the most problems? They're young gangbangers. And how, if you know that they're in Chicago, how do they get to exist and do what they do without any repercussions unless they go kill this little girl that knows the president?
So
that's just something that you have to do, but you got to start off organizing the folks that you're bringing together so you know who's serious and who ain't. And then take this organization and come join us over at 1570 AM and see which way we're going.
And on that note, the sign-up sheet going around is imperative. I know that we sign them out, have them every time that we come, but they're really important. One, we're able to cross-reference those lists with existing communication channels so that we know, okay, who's coming to the meetings, who has what resources, who can do what. The next thing is actually being created is a database for the South Shore Network. So you'll know, you'll have access to who block club presidents are in certain blocks, Twitter handles, text, and email. So those are really, really important if you would sign up to make sure that you're getting on those lists. We're still in talks about it. It's going to be rolled out in a few months, but it's important that you know that it's happening.
I also suggest that you look at what people are interested in working on.
Right.
If I'm interested to work directly with youth, I should put that down there. If someone wants to work with the police and be a liaison, they should put that on there. So your group has different groups within the structure.
Yes.
That's really important. That someone's working with their passion is.
Okay. One more. We'll move on. Right.
How many people are aware that the Chicago Park District pays the Chicago Police Department millions of dollars a year to patrol and protect parks? They will not respond to a call about a problem in a park if it's not a priority. They have other calls that they're responding to. You may not get a response to a call of a fight or somebody drinking or letting their dog run into the children's play lot and jump all over little kids. You will not get police response for that because it is not a priority. So I think a bunch of us need to march down to Park District headquarters to one of their board meetings coming up in April and address that to the Chicago Park District Board of Commissioners. Why don't you take those millions of dollars that you're giving the Chicago Police Department who cannot respond to those misdemeanor park violations in a timely manner and do something else with that money? I mean, give it to the park advisory councils and let them hire their own security people for their designated parks. A lot of parks have park advisory councils. The other thing, when we go to court, 3rd District Court advocates, when we go to court, the judges kick those cases out because park district violations are misdemeanors. If you're drinking in the park, it's a misdemeanor. If you're urinating in the park, it's a misdemeanor. So why are they paying the police department all these millions of dollars a year to protect the park, and they arrest somebody, the case is gonna get kicked out anyhow because it's a misdemeanor? So we need to go down to the park district, and you have to register to speak in advance. They only give you like 3 to 5 minutes. So in the past, the way we did it, 7 or 8 of us would just designate one person to talk, and we signed up to speak and yield our time to that one spokesperson. So
that sounds like
when
something you
his
should
3
be
minutes
a-
run up, well, I'm
yeah.
gonna yield my 3 minutes to him, you know, so that person can keep
So
talking.
are you willing to lead that? Are you willing to lead a group like that? Or?
I wouldn't mind.
Yeah. Because it sounds like you know a lot about it.
Yeah, no, you're
Okay,
good.
yeah.
So yeah, so if you're interested, please, 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 talk together after the meeting. We have, so we're gonna go ahead and move on. We have some time set up later on for more commentary and all that information to get through our content. The next person we have coming up is,
And I just want to say one thing. I was at the 3rd District CAPS meeting Wednesday evening. 3rd District is a very large district. There were 12 people at that meeting.
yeah, because we don't, I'm pretty tech savvy. I'm like one of the most information happiest people in South Shore. It is very difficult for me to get a beat on when CAPS meetings are happening. So I can imagine if it's difficult for me, that it's difficult for everybody else. So somehow they have to get together, organize that a little bit better, so that, and give us the information so that we can get there, because it's nuts. But on that note, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to turn it over to Trina, because she's got to get back to the job. But we have a business spotlight. I try to do one every month of a really awesome business that I think is doing really well and adding something to the community. So today we have Random Glam. I thought it was Random Glam, and she's going to talk to you a little bit more about what she does.
Hi, my name is Latrina Shepherd, and I'm the owner of Random Glam, which is at 2707 South Exchange, 3 doors down from Sara. I opened in August of last year, so I'm brand new. And Random Glam is a wigs and accessories store for women. So I sell lace front and full head wigs. I'll be selling premium wigs soon. I sell handbags, leather and vegan handbags, and accessories, both designer-made, handmade accessories that are unique, as well as costume jewelry. I opened Random Glam because I've been a wig wearer for a long time, and I love them. And I wear them out of necessity because I have alopecia. And I could never find a place to shop that I felt comfortable and not rushed, and that had a boutique experience where I just, wigs are very personal to people like me who have to wear them. And I wasn't finding that shopping experience that I wanted. So when I lost my job over almost 2 years ago, I actually dreamt about owning my own wig boutique and making a space where people can come and feel comfortable and shop and have personal attention and feel taken care of. And things just started to fall into place, and I found this wonderful location in the South Shore community. I'm from South Shore, I live here, and I wanted to bring my business here. And so far, the community, the SSA, and the Chamber have been very supportive of me, and the word is getting out that I'm there. I don't have a lot of funds for advertising, so word of mouth is my best advertisement. So I invite